And we're going again. Okay, so we should introduce ourselves because this is like the introduction video. So introduce yourself, my friend.
Taking a long break. Hi, I'm Nicholas, and I run the YouTube channel Nicholas's Cars.
And subscribe. Wait, maybe it's a link somewhere. Maybe it's in the description. Yeah, it's in the description.
Yeah, maybe it's up there. Maybe it's in the description. You'll see. And then you.
I am Cole, and I am Brick Engineering Dude, or I'm known as Brick Engineering Dude
I should also
on the internet.
Share.
Oh yeah, that's better. There we go. I'm known as Brick Engineering Dude on the internet, and now I'm going to be posting some videos on this channel. We're going to have these weekly talk videos, and basically, I think we can both qualify as car nerds.
Yes, I think we are.
Having not driven a very cool car, like what's the coolest car you've ever driven?
We haven't driven.
I mean,
we've never driven anything. So like all our opinions are still like, come back in 5. Like don't come back. Like watch this. Come back in 5 years if you really want to know what our opinions about cars are after we've driven them all. But anyway, we talk here every. Like at least we're gonna try every week. Try to do it every week to talk a bit about cars and some car news and just other stuff, interesting car related things. We don't talk about anything else really besides cars. At least we try not to.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we should get going.
First, let me just explain the mic situation. Basically, the desk lamp with the mic, secured desk lamp. Maybe when you're a professional podcast someday, we'll have like the headphones and like the
2 mics. Yeah,
this isn't necessarily a podcast. This is a video.
Well, someday it'll be probably a podcast.
Yeah, eventually.
Okay, anyway, let's get going.
Okay.
So today we're gonna talk a few things. Like we don't want to make this too scheduled, but I mean, let's just get started right now. Like I know all the Porsche GT3 reviews.
The mic out of my face.
The new Porsche GT3 reviews are out. We watched Doug DeMuro's video. We didn't watch any of the other ones. Actually, we should have. We
cannot give you a review of the reviews yet, but we will sometime.
Yes, we don't know which one.
Maybe next week.
Was. Maybe next week. We should. I don't know if I like when a new car comes out. Like there's always the because of the embargo thing or whatever.
Yeah.
They're always like, oh my gosh, like they're all
like the YouTube subscriptions is just
like Top Gear, Doug DeMuro, that Smoking Tire, like everyone reviews the car, and it's like it's not that exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we normally watch Doug's review, but anyway, with the new GT3, I know that I've
this mic out of my face. Sorry.
I've thought the car as being quite good looking, in fact, and I think that. Well, I don't know if it is the best looking Porsche GT3. Generally, like, unfortunately, I have opinions about cars. Like, there are certain cars I have very strong opinions of. With the GT3, I'm not really sure. Like, unfortunately, with the M4, new BMW M3 and M4, I thought they were really hideous. I was like, I hate it. I shouldn't. That's a strong way to say it, but still, I was like, the grills are horrible. And then, after hearing what your opinion was, which is like they're not that bad, and also other people's opinion, like, oh yeah, they're kind of growing on me. It's a good car anyway. Now it's starting to say like, you know what? Maybe it's not that bad.
I take like the 996 headlights. You know, like I don't like them, but I don't mind them being there. Mm-hmm. It's still a good car.
There are cars that were thought of being controversial at their time, look good later. So we'll have to see what happens with
like the original 2002. What was it called?
2002, yes, BMW.
Something like that.
Yes, but anyway, what do you think of the way? Speaking of the new GT3, what do you think of the way?
Because we were talking about this earlier, I had the weird feeling that it looks kind of blobby, but it doesn't really look. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I might have just been in the bad mood when I watched the review video. I do like the way it looks. I like the 992 in general because it's just a nice, clean design.
Mm-hmm.
Like most car nerds will complain, it is getting kind of big for a sports car, which the 718 makes more sense as like your darty sports car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still like the way 911 sounds and looks.
Yeah, of course. I like it, although I think what I found is that there's 2 bits that I found interesting. Is that the first bit, or 3 maybe. The first bit is at the front intake, like the mouth. It's like it looks like a fish, not like a fish necessarily.
I like fish though.
Yeah, I like fish. It looks like a fish. It just looks like it has like a big mouth, kind of, you know. And then that looks a little bit strange because it's like just that one gaping front area, which is like bad. It just looks a little bit strange. And this mic is in front of my face. I'm trying to figure out what to do about this. The second part is that the intakes in the hood, which not necessarily pretty, they look fine, but they look like they're like aerodynamic bits.
They match the Vendor better.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
The SVJ has
SVJ is the exact same intakes, which is kind of funny. I'm not sure if Ferrari has like the Pista and maybe the F8 also, which has the intake that goes in the front and then out the front hood or whatever you like to call it.
Which is pretty good looking intake.
It's just nice looking intake. I mean, on the SVJ and the GT3, it's like got 2 little intakes because they're smaller or whatever. Ferrari's just like one big duct going through it, and that looks a little. That obviously messes up the design a little bit, but it's not major. We haven't had anything like that before in 911. And then the last kind of weird bit for me is the wing. Now they have the new swan neck wing, you know, which is a really cool wing design. Like you were saying, it looks more appropriate than the Senna. Of course, the Senna's wing is colossal compared to the GT3's wing.
But the Senna looks out the window
Yeah, yeah.
to go as fast as it can. The GT3 isn't trying to do that.
Yeah. But I just found that the new wing looks kind of small almost. I'm not saying it's too small of a wing. I think the handle's pretty good, so obviously the wing isn't too small. But I think that
It looks a bit small.
it makes it look a bit small because the swan neck connector or whatever for the wing, the swan neck mount for the wing. I think compared to the old GT3, which had like the wing mount was like at the same thickness as the wing.
I agree. 991 GT3 will probably be thought as looking better eventually in the future.
Yeah.
But I would say that if you're worried about the wing being too small, you don't have to worry about it because the GT3 RS.
Yeah,
I've seen the spy shots of that.
Yeah,
that's
not gonna be.
It's like the wing.
That's gonna be like you
could
use
put
the closet.
You put the wing on the ground next to the car, and it would be as tall as the car. It's the biggest wing I've seen mounted to anything. Really, it's not a. I've seen even race cars. I haven't seen wings that big on them.
I just realized I said you can use it like a closet. Like yeah, that doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, you can use it like a closet. Anyway, I don't think there was any other car news really that we were going to touch on.
No.
But because not a lot happened this week, but it was.
The
except
Shanghai
for the
Auto Show,
Yeah,
actually.
Shanghai Auto Show, which had a lot of nonsense.
That could be a separate video in
mock-up
itself.
cars. Yeah, that should be a video in itself. I don't know. Maybe
I don't
not.
know.
But then we also had the Ferrari 812 Versione Speciale.
Yeah, sorry if
Which is,
like this curtain's really getting pretty bright over here. I don't know if we can like darken that a little bit. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. Anyway,
Where are we? It's a Version Speciale. We should start with the What do you think? How do you think how it looks?
I think it looks pretty good. I'm still trying to think about it.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, it looks quite good, but I'm also not sure. The V12 does rev to 9,500 RPM.
Yeah. So it'll
probably maybe the greatest assembly car ever.
Yeah, my favorite part by far is the big old V12 with the 9,500 RPM red line. Or
That's gonna be
like
the A12 already sounds insane.
Yeah,
With
so that's gonna
500
be crazy.
RPM on extra. That for me is something that makes it worth more. Like I mean, I know it's only 500 RPM, but that'll make a world of difference in how a car sounds because the top like 3,000 RPM really is what determines how a car sounds.
Yeah.
But I would say that I don't think it's going to be worth what they charge for it probably because if you look at the F12 TDF and the 599 GTO, the market for them is very, very high. Like there's a lot, like people pay a lot for a GTO, but really you could get the same driving experience out of a 599 and then it would be pretty much the same.
Yeah. More mic adjustment here. Yeah, I think I like how it looks. Like I said, my favorite part's the V12. That would be V12 and like the big high capacity V12. But I think I like the standard A12 looks better. Just because the standard A12 looks cleaner. This one has the big like was it a boomerang shaped intake? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, something like
on
that.
the hood. It's got the rear lights are smaller. They're not round. They're not circular. And there's just a couple parts. I'm not sure how much faster it's gonna be on track. It's gonna be faster, obviously. I assume it must be faster. What else? We got the. What's that thing called? I'm not sure. I don't like it any better than standard A12 in looks terms. But if it sounds a lot better, then I will like it. And also, I keep scratching my eyebrow for whatever reason.
Yeah. Anyway,
Continue.
I think today, a bit more, something else to discuss. We're going to talk, because we haven't been here for so long, and we haven't really discussed this, so you can get to know our car taste a bit better. We have a list here of some of the cars. We're not going to read it completely off the list.
That's
Some
what we did
cars
with the last take. That didn't go so
last
well.
take didn't go as well. But anyway, just talk about a few cars that we're interested in buying. Not right now, obviously.
Yeah, if you have one, we'll buy it from you.
Not right now. But cars that we buy someday. Obviously, we haven't driven anything. This is from what we heard about them, what we've read about them, what we've watched about them, and how we think they look and everything, and how they sound. But you could go through a few of your list right now.
Okay.
Not to completely read it. Not just
This is somewhat of my favorite cars. Now my list has like 40 cars on it or something, so I'll try and pick out my favorites. So first one will be the Acura NSX Liberty Walk, which isn't like the first one that comes to people's minds. The Acura NSX is being a dream car, but I like it because nobody else has one. Well, yeah. I mean, can you think just like in YouTube, because that's like people you can think of. You don't know anybody who owns one. At least I don't watch anybody who owns one. Mm-hmm. So that would be something like it's just a rare car. I don't like it just because nobody on YouTube owns it, but I like it because
it's a good car.
It's a good
forgotten.
car, and it's forgotten, and it'd be very unique, especially with the Liberty Walk Gate, because I think there's hardly any of them out there.
I don't know if there is one in the U.S.
Yeah, and then I think that's a really cool car. And then we go R35 GTR. That's kind of standard stuff. It's just typical car guy stuff that you expect. Hennessy Velociraptor V8 because the stock Raptor stock Raptor is very nice, but you need a bit more power. I like the Ram TRX, although
it's funny. Yeah.
This is kind of confusing because the thing is I get the Ram TRX, which has the Hellcat, so technically it has more power than the Velociraptor V8. Velociraptor V8 produces 750 horsepower because they swap in the Coyote V8 from like the Mustang GT or whatever.
Great supercharger.
supercharger. The Ram TRX is like 700 horsepower, right? So actually less when I think about it. Sorry, I got mixed up there. Now, obviously, Ram TRX is going to be not easier to service because you can just take it to the Dodge Chrysler dealer or whatever. Hennessy TRX or Hennessy Velociraptor, I assume you might be able to take it to Ford because it's like a Ford engine, I think, but who knows? You might just have to take it to them, so I might just have to move to Texas. But
To have one.
that thing just looks so mean compared to the TRX. I like the TRX a lot. It looks extremely mean, but the Velociraptor just looks like something out of Halo, which is a very teenage guy thing to say.
But anyway, I was gonna say, yeah, it's funny because I have this thing that I was just talking about last night, I think, and due to Raptor and the TRX really need to exist. Because here's my opinion: if I'm a guy who's a farmer or something, and I'm just a normal guy who lives in the middle of like South Dakota, and I have a big farm, and I need to drive around, I don't need a truck with a Hellcat in it. Like, I was doing well if I was a wealthy-ish farmer. I could have a few vehicles or 2 or 3 vehicles. I'd buy a normal F-150, and if I really wanted to, I'd buy a GT500 or a Hellcat, or a GT350 and a Hellcat. Because I think the muscle car engine, as cool as the Raptor and TRX are, I would never need to buy one. Like, for all the work stuff, I'm not a guy who, I don't think I'll ever end up being a farmer. For any work duties I need to do with it, I would probably buy a large truck. I'd probably buy a normal truck to do that. I mean, personally, for like my daily drive, if I had to buy an SUV truck type vehicle, I'd probably get the GLE 63, the GLE, I don't know, whichever one's the normal SUV.
Yeah,
the normal SUV of
not the coupe.
Not the coupe. The coupe's ugly looking. But the normal SUV.
One. Yeah.
Which even with the monoblock wheels is an extremely good looking car. I think it's the best, maybe one of the best looking Mercedes you can buy.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I have this feeling that the TRX and the Raptor don't need to exist.
They don't need to, but I guess it's kind of just like one of those why not kind of things. So Velociraptor or TRX, I like both. Although I would like a Raptor, maybe just stock Raptor then, or maybe the V6 Velociraptor. That'd be easier to service, I assume. Like when you can. Okay, next up. This is a very, very specific one I've written down here, but you could probably less specific and I'd still be happy. Lamborghini Murcielago. Now I'd pretty be happy with a Murcielago. Ideally, gated roadster. LP640 because
gated as in gated manual transmission.
Yeah, gated manual. Good point. I should say manual roadster. Now one thing that I really say if I get a salvaged Murcielago or something like that, I could buy one. Then I would put the Liberty Walk body kit. Not the wide body, but the Type 2. I don't even know if to make the Type 2. I'm not at the Liberty Walk website. It's all in Japanese, so I can't really read it. I just look at the pictures. The Type 2 body kit has the front splitter upgrade, the rear diffuser upgrade. I think it has side skirts, and it has a big rear wing that does nothing, as far as I know.
I don't know.
I really like the look of it.
And you're not cutting it up.
Yeah. And yeah, so I'm not cutting it up. I'm just taking it. So I wouldn't, in that sense, actually, now that I think about it, I wouldn't need to buy a salvage one. I could just get a stock one. I think I would drill holes in the back, I guess, to fit the wing on there. Although there might be a separate part for the wing. So in that case, yeah, I would get one, the Liberty Walk kit. Or the SV would be ideal. That's rare. I would not get a LP640 or a stack one and put the SV body kit because that's just like, you know, you don't do that around here. We don't do that around here.
No, that's not what we like. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No offense to anyone who does, because
yeah.
I know I won't name names, but
yeah, everybody knows the name.
It is a cool car to have.
Yeah, it's a cool car.
But still, I don't want to drive around being like I don't know. Like there are people like I know I saw a picture of a car. It was a Huracan with SV stickers, and it's like you made it, but you need to make it again.
Yeah.
Like why? Like you have a Huracan. Anyone who's a car person. Like anyone who sees you drive,
it's up badging, but just on a different level.
But everyone who sees every person who sees, they'll have a Lamborghini. They won't really be able to assume which one it is. They'll just assume it's a Lamborghini. Like you're doing well. But you have to put SV badges on it, even though it's not a real SV. You're like the car enthusiast people will know you're lying.
Yeah.
I don't know why you have to do that.
So yeah, where should I go? So next one, Dodge Demon, Challenger Demon, or Hellcat. I like both. I mean, the reason that it's on this list is because not because I like drag racing. I mean, I like drag racing, but I think. This is a theory, or hypothesis, I suppose. Maybe it's a theory, maybe it's both. That it would either one make a good GT car. Now, maybe not so much the Demon, just because it's overpowered for
840 horsepower
for just like cruising or whatever. So the Hellcat might be good for that. Now the thing is, you get a manual Hellcat. The thing is that kind of takes away the GT car point of it, you know. So maybe the Demon makes more sense. But then I just get an automatic Hellcat, I guess. Definitely, I go with a wide body. I get a Hellcat. But I just love the Challenger's looks, especially the wide body. So I think you have even like a what do you call it? SRT Hemi Challenger. What's the one called? Like not GT's V6, But what's the one above that? Not the one
Scat
above
Pack.
that. Scat Pack or something like that. Just like the V8 ones. Those are all really
Yeah,
awesome.
it's funny with the Demon.
But I love the Hellcat too.
Because
Hellcat
the Dodge Demon is like fast in a straight line, but it's like not as fast as the 765 LT in a straight line, which is the new king of the quarter mile or whatever. But which it doesn't sound like it would be, honestly. But the Demon is an interesting car because if you compare the Demon and GT500, the Demon is meant for going in a straight line fast. The GT500 is meant for going kind of around the track fast, which is interesting. Around circles fast. Because the GT500 actually, this is Forza Horizon 4 driving, but the GT500 to me feels like a more fun car than the Challenger because I do like the sound of the Challenger and stuff a lot. The GT500 is one. It doesn't make any sense to the carbon wheels and track pack and everything, but I do like having a lot of grip on a Mustang. Like because most Mustangs are like
I always thought about what was it? I found that Demon kind of funny because you could like drag prep it with slicks and everything, and you go really fast. But you have to get it right, you know.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to something like the SF90, which is like the new king of the drag strip because
it just beat the SF90 like last week.
SF90 you just take it right off the road onto the racetrack and go boom.
Yeah.
Now. 765 LT also in a sense, but I think 765 is a bit of modification. They're very fast, but they're very fast stock anyway. So I found that like the Demon beats an Aventador, a prepped Demon beats an Aventador, but a non-prepped Aventador beats a non-prepped Demon, but a non-prepped SF90 beats a
Dodge Demon takes skill to do. But like, I mean, it's true. To have a Dodge Demon, you need to have a decent amount of money to win with a Dodge Demon. You need to have a decent amount of money, a lot of skill to win with a Aventador or something, or especially an SF90 or something. You need not that much skill and a lot of money. Because the SF90 for me is not a car I would buy. I like it. I kind of like the way it looks. I really don't like the fact it's V8. Like I think, like the thing is, I don't know if this would hurt the LaFerrari market, but I wish Ferrari would make a mid-engine V12 supercar because they make those very few and those are incredibly unaffordable. But Ferrari could make an Aventador competitor to an Aventador mid-engine.
Your 812, but
yeah, mid-engine V12 sports car, supercar, whatever. And I think that the SF90s, even though it's cool, the hybrid technology thing and everything, it's just kind of it'd be a fun car, but like I don't need that. I'd rather have an 812 GTS.
Yeah.
That would be more fun personally. Like, sure, you can go fast, and you can go fast easily, but why not drive something that is pretty fast anyway? And it's just better looking, better driving.
All right, next up on my list, we got the Mazda NA Miata, because it's just one of my favorite cars. It just looks it's cute. It's another car that's just like classically good looking in my opinion.
And it's quite cute.
And it's cute. And it's not fast. It's not
mostly
fast
because it looks like a tree frog for some reason to me.
Also, it's like one of those things. It's one of those cars that you could have a lot of fun without going to jail, easily. Like you can't just really put
like
down.
Like in Miata, you probably have to
like
go
0 to jail in how many seconds? Like 70 seconds. Not 7. I mean like 7 seconds. I mean to 60. No, maybe not even 7. Like 10 seconds to 60.
Yeah, it would probably take you half a minute or 2 minutes to go to jail. Yeah. But if I was like in a GT2 RS on the highway, it was like only like 60 miles an hour. I was like, you go to jail today. It would take me like zero, like especially in like a modified car. I mean, in some cars nowadays, like even tuner cars, zero to jail is like, I mean, even 60 to jail is like 3 seconds. Like in the SF90, like you just leave a stoplight, 5 seconds you go to jail.
Yeah.
5-6 seconds, which is another reason why I would actually might rather have a classic 911 over like a GT3.
Yeah.
Because besides the fact that they're a lot of fun to drive, classic 911, the classic 911 would probably go up to 5th gear, and if you keep going, then you might get a bad ticket or whatever. But in a GT3, you could get up to 3rd gear and get a bad ticket.
Yeah. Or 1st gear. Yeah. Okay. Next up. I would put some upgrades in my Miata.
Because it's getting a little slow.
Yeah. Next, Jeep Gladiator, because you always see these things driving around with, like, the doors off and everything, and the roof off. You're like, oh, that guy is so cool, especially the lifted ones with, like, the 35-inch tires. Those ones are amazing. And then the Hellcat swap, even cooler. So all three, no doors, Hellcat swap, and lifted would be, like, the ultimate combination. And then Lamborghini Centenario, because that's, like, the obvious one, I guess,
Your favorite car?
Yeah. I mean, favorite looking, at least.
Favorite looking.
Technically, I could buy a Miata, and that would be my favorite car,
Yeah, whatever car you own is your favorite car.
Yeah, exactly.
In some ways.
In some sense. It's not all the time. Centenario Roadster, because Roadster, Southern California, you gotta have a Roadster.
I do like the Centenario, I was gonna say. I don't know. It's funny, because for me, I feel like the Centenario was overpriced.
It is overpriced.
But I don't, like, for example, I think Ferrari avoids the problem, because Lamborghini has admittedly, like I was just saying before about the LaFerrari, about having essentially a more affordable LaFerrari. Ferrari avoids hurting the market on the Enzo and the LaFerrari because there's nothing else you can buy like it.
Yeah, you're right. So I guess
because if Ferrari did that, it would be a car I would certainly buy. But unfortunately, then Ferrari's like, well, you take down the price of the LaFerrari. So because the LaFerrari's worth so much, still don't think it would hurt that much. But with a Lamborghini, you get all the experience in an Aventador for $400,000 that you get in the Centenario, for $3 million.
Yeah, exactly.
But I agree, the Centenario is very good looking.
If I was like Manny Koshman level rich, then I would like, you know.
The Centenario's wing, especially. I think the wing is one of the coolest active aero systems on any car.
Yeah.
Probably definitely up there at the Veyron, the Senna, and other cars.
And here we go to another very expensive car, Hennessy Venom GT. Because it's just a crazy car. I think that car would be known as like a Carrera GT, like not even Carrera GT, but it would be known as like a car. A Carrera GT it's sort of regarded as dangerous. It's not regarded like Ford Pinto levels of danger,
yeah.
But it's, you know,
or even like a Yugo or something. It's not safe if you get in a crash.
But it's not. There's like a sense of what do you call it? Like danger to the Carrera GT, you know, because people died in accidents with it.
Unfortunately, but I was gonna say, because they built a lot of. The thing is, they built like 1,000 Carrera GTs.
Something like that. I don't know.
But it was a lot compared to the Venom. Whereas 12,
yeah,
12 Hennessy
24
Venoms.
Venoms.
12 or 24 Hennessy Venoms, and it's like I think if there were 1,000 Hennessy Venoms, a lot of them be crashed.
Yeah,
because it is the most insane. Like, unfortunately, it's funny because like I think with the YouTube and YouTube videos and stuff, I've never seen a video. Unfortunately, which is a video I will make someday if someone ever lends me keys to a Hennessy Venom. Like the Hennessy Venom is a really, really cool car. It never got appreciated.
Well, the things that weren't really enough to get appreciated.
No, they weren't enough, and plus,
I got appreciated that did top.
Hennessy doesn't have the brand name Bugatti or Koenigsegg had, because Bugatti had the record, then Hennessy took the record, then Koenigsegg took it back. And obviously, no offense to Koenigsegg, but the hype for Koenigsegg is so immense. Like I sometimes think Koenigsegg's are a little bit overrated because there's so much hype for them. Yeah. Especially among, no offense, young people, but probably including my group. But I'm not like the biggest Koenigsegg guy. But because I think the Koenigseggs have a lot of horsepower, and they don't at least in a track situation, they don't necessarily use all that horsepower. In speed situation, they use all that horsepower. Yeah. But I think that unfortunately, the Venom GT never got the appreciation it should have.
Yeah, well, and I think it is the sense. It got the record.
It got the record, but it never had the appreciation. Like, if you go to this car show, a lot of people won't know what a Venom GT is, but a lot of people know what an Agera or Veyron is. Everyone knows the Bugatti Veyron. No one doesn't.
It does have a little bit of a kit car look to it, which isn't bad. It's a really good-looking car.
Personally, here's my opinion. I think the Venom GT looks better than the new F5.
Yeah.
I think with the active aero and everything. I'd say. The Venom GT. Yeah. I would say I've always liked the way the Veyron looked, but it has looked a bit bug-like,
which is kind of maybe intentional.
I don't know. I don't think you're trying to make $1 million car look like a bug, but I think the Veyron had a lot that the Venom didn't have because it's $1 million car.
I mean, the Veyron was
it was the first car to cost $1 million. Yeah, the Veyron was old actually. It was kind of getting old by the time the Venom came along. Unfortunately, I don't feel like the Venom ever had like as much fame as it could have been because it wasn't built by Hennessy. Yeah. But it was still based on a Lotus, but I personally would say it wasn't really a Lotus anymore. Yeah. It looked a bit like one, but it didn't. It had nothing else in common. Yeah. But it is the ultimate. Like I've seen a lot of twin turbo LS cars. It's the ultimate evolution of anything with a LS and two turbos.
Now, what I was saying is that the Carrera GT, which is sort of regarded as a dangerous car, not like to a major extent, but just like to a extent. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I think if the Hennessy had made more of the Venoms, or they would have got that. Right? The Venoms were cheaper because at some point CGTs were like at 200,000, which I think is why there's so many like distastefully spec'd ones. Mm-hmm. There's not like solid colors, but I mean like weird wraps and things. That kind of thing. I mean, if you go look up worst spec, if you guys know what I mean, you'll know what I mean. The Venom GT. I think if they were more and they were cheaper, because at one point CGTs were like at 200,000, you know, and it was like that's Huracan money today. I mean, I wish I had bought one at
200,000. Oh man, imagine what that would have been like.
Yeah. So I think they got cheap, so a lot of people had them. There were a great deal more of them than there were Venoms. We're just trying to keep our laptop from falling asleep here. So I think they made many Venoms as there were CGTs. I mean, the Venom came out later, obviously, but I think the Venom would be regarded as like the most dangerous car money you could possibly buy, just because you got 1,200 horsepower going to the rear wheels, but hardly anybody's driven one, so nobody really knows. Like, only experienced drivers have gotten to drive them. Mm-hmm. No average guy really has gotten to drive it.
Even average supercar collectors don't buy Venom, don't have Hennessy Venoms or whatever. Yeah. Like, I think the Hennessy Venom.
Somebody's like, I don't know, mopping the floor up there or something.
What room would that be?
There's a closet up there.
Okay, yeah, okay. Anyway, yes. But anyway, the Venom, I think, would have a reputation for being very dangerous. The Viper has a reputation for being very dangerous.
Yeah, because there are a lot of Vipers and they're cheap compared to Venoms.
And they crash a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think there are Vipers. I think the twin turbo Vipers,
Yeah.
some of them,
Even
even though
there's
there are
not
very
many
few,
twin turbo
there
ones.
aren't many twin turbo Vipers, but the twin turbo Vipers are probably the most dangerous car on earth.
Yeah. But I
Or
think-
even some of the modified Supras.
Yeah.
They have like 1300,
Like the
1400
Mark
horsepower.
IVs.
Yeah, Mark IVs. Those are dangerous.
Yeah. So I think like the Venom's GT to an extent is a Viper like dialed up to whatever.
hmm
12.
With the engine in the back.
Dialed up to not 11 but 12.
2 less cylinders. It's like a C8 Corvette, but dialed up to whatever.
11, 12, 13,
Uh-huh.
14. I don't know.
And with like 500 pounds taken out, and with a manual.
Next up, Honda Civic Type R FK8. Now, to be honest, I put in FK8 just because I know the designation of the
Model number, whatever you want to call it.
generation of this Civic, but I do not know any of the other ones.
Mhm.
So there you go. I do very much like the color. I've heard great things about this car, you know. So like I've heard the transmission's great. It accelerates well. It handles very nicely. It beat the F50 and F40 around Suzuka, the special edition one, like the weight reduction version.
That's hilarious.
I know.
On the Civic being faster.
Because
than
it looks so
40.
much. Like, if you compare it to the F50, it looks so much more
angry.
Just like it's a little.
Of course, some people say it's hideous. I disagree.
Let's
I don't
say
think it's the best.
I
looking thing.
personally like that car a lot, which
Mhm.
is like something that people would disagree with.
I personally think that my opinion is that some hot hatches are too boring. I can't really think of anyone
GTI
right now.
Maybe not GTI.
No, GTI looks good. I think like there are some hot hatches. Maybe I wouldn't really say Ford Focus RS, but there are some hot hatches that look very boring. And then
I
like
can't think of any. No.
that's the thing.
One series,
There's
maybe.
maybe like there are ones that look very exciting. There are ones that look very exciting, like the Civic Type R, maybe too exciting. There are ones to me that look really good. Like I think the best looking ones are the Evo and the Impreza, because the Evo especially, the Evo has just the right amount of like.
You mean like the Evo 10?
Yeah, Evo 10, Evo 9. They've got the wing, they've got the spoiler, they've
Yeah.
got the mud flaps, they've got those aggressive parts. They also have just normal-ish looks.
Yeah, like it's a kind of a very like a boring car that's been modified. While the Civic Type R, well, Civic Type R is like a boring car that's been modified
Mhm.
also. But I like it looks silly. I like it, and I like the Phoenix yellow color in the special edition. What I do is I get a stock one and wrap it bright yellow because I don't want to live without the air conditioning.
It's insane that Honda would sell a car that doesn't have air conditioning.
Okay, that's my top 10 right there. Although I have a bunch of other ones here. We'll just go through real quick.
Unfortunately, my list isn't available right now.
The
But
laptop is broken.
yeah,
No.
but anyway, I guess I'll just try and recite what I can think about, because last take it became a bit more of my favorite cars, not really cars I actually buy. Some cars I think that I like are hideously overpriced, like Bugatti Divo, like I love the Divo, but I think the Divo's insanely overpriced, because like the Chiron's like however much Chiron's cost. Like the Divo's way more affordable. I mean the Divo's way less affordable, and you need a
Yeah.
Chiron too, and everything. It's just like
Yeah,
just
it's like-
nonsense.
One of those cars that just sell you big money. I mean, it'll probably be worth something, obviously, but
Yeah. Yeah, it won't depreciate
because
or
there's so
whatever.
few of them, and because it's so
But
rare.
Chiron's a better buy.
Yeah.
But some would say Chiron's better looking. I might be one of those. It's hard to decide honestly, but I think the Chiron is definitely more classically beautiful. Like for the cars I would have, I would have a Spiker C8, which I think is a very good looking car. I find them interesting. I find them kind of quirky. And I do like the way they sound. I love the way their shifter looks. I love the way the interior looks. I think they got a lot of attention to detail. It is. I've heard people call it the baby Pagani, and in some ways that is kind of what it is. That is kind of like what it is. I mean, a lot of the cars I'm going to talk about here are ones that I could maybe afford if my YouTube channel works out really well, kind of thing. Versus like there are cars that I would have if I had like tens of millions of dollars. Like they're almost impossible to get your hands on unless you know a lot of people too. But I'm not really going to try and list too many of those cars. I mean, there's the. Just thinking, there's the I would love to buy an Audi R8 LMS, because I've seen a lot of twin turbo R8 and Huracan builds that look really cool, but I've never seen one that
LMS.
and I've never seen LMS or Super Trofeo or whatever. And someone might be doing that right now, but because it'll probably take me a few years before anyone. So hopefully no one takes the idea. So if anyone's watching this video and can afford a R8 LMS, please
Wait.
don't take my idea. But yeah, wait.
Stop.
Wait, stop. Yeah.
Something
but-
like that.
I would like, but I think it would be good. It would be a fun idea for a car. Because for me, I like track cars. I like cars that have performance, but I also like cars that have excitement. That's kind of that's a mix
Kind of like
for me.
the Zyrus, but like the Zyrus.
Yeah, the Zyrus LP1200, which is the
Which
most
just looks better.
Yeah, which is the most insane looking, like most insane car really that there you could think of. It's like a Super Trofeo with twin turbos and a bunch more weight taken out, a bunch extra downforce. I could just buy one of those, but it's like $500,000, and I think I could do my own thing with the R8.
Yeah.
And the R8 GT2, which also costs like $500,000, if you can buy one. I don't know how I get the hands on one. I think I'd probably talk to all the Audi executives and convince them I could buy one. I'm not sure how to think about that, but like if you could get your I don't know if they're even used, like if they even come up for sale used. I don't know what, like I have no idea what the market on those are. I don't know how many there are, but it's an insane looking thing, and a twin turbo R8 GT2 would be a fun track car, because I think that the rare cars for me are good and they're fast. They don't feel that exciting. Like I think that personally, like I think there are some cars like the BMW M2 and everything, like they're fast. Like I think you need a lot of character or sound. Like I think there are cars like the E92 M3, which has a very, very good sound. Like I would love to have a E92 M3, an E36 M3, or even an E46, any M3 really. I would like to have some kind of M3, probably E92. I mean, I'd love to have Lexus LFA. They are extremely good. They're good value for what they are, and like they're not the greatest driving supercar, not the greatest looking supercar. They are probably the greatest sounding supercar if you can get your hands on one, and Japan might never have their supercar as cool as that. But Japan generally isn't the supercar people. They're generally people who modify the cars. Yeah. And they make plenty of good cars. They don't make generally exotics or fast cars from the factory. But they make very tunable cars often. But I was gonna say, I think that a Gunterworks 400R is one of my favorite cars ever, the Porsche Resto mod. I have I'm not really sure what I think of the 400R, and that I love the 400R personally. Like personally, I think it's a $500,000 car. Personally, I'd spend $500,000 on a 400R. But
if you had $1 million, if you had like $2 million, you'd spend maybe not that.
I don't know. You need a lot of money to spend. You need a lot of money to spend on a 400R, and I don't know if I would buy a 400R because I don't know if you get the same experience out of a GT3 or even just a plain old 99 with a bunch of upgrades on it. So, but either I would go the Gunterworks route, or I'd get my own 964, 930, whatever you want to call it, and whatever Porsche generation I like, and then make my own kind of like modified one. I love the Singer DLS too, which is another one I had on my list, but the Singer DLS is like close to $2 million, probably overpriced for that, but I think the DLS is a really cool car. I would probably do something like that though, swap a modern 4-liter engine into an older 911 and drive that around, or even a 993 or whatever. But if I could just go ahead and buy a Gunterworks, which I think is probably one of the coolest cars there is, but I think a lot of people view them as very overpriced because they're $500,000 for 993 is a lot. I mean, except for like the GT2, which I think that Gunterworks is cooler than the GT2 in that you can get it as customized to how you want.
Yeah.
There's no Gunterworks pretty much will do whatever they want for you. Another car would be the Pagani Zonda. I think the Zonda is a really good special car. It's just
you can find one.
If you can find a Zonda.
Make you one if you pay one.
Yeah, they probably would. But I've seen people who've bought Zondas recently, but I've never seen a Zonda for sale. We look fairly regularly on a lot of car websites, which I'm sure would highlight a Zonda if one was for sale. I haven't seen any auction websites. I haven't seen any on like cars for sale websites, whatever, any of that stuff. I just never see Zondas. I see a few Huayras, obviously. There are like 5, 6, 7 Huayras for sale all the time, it seems. But I've never see Zondas. Like I think with a Zonda, you have to know someone to get one.
Yeah.
I think all the Pagani customers personally who have Huayras know Mr. Pagani and know the Pagani company, and he knows all the Pagani owners. So if a Pagani owner wants to sell a Zonda or whatever, and you know Mr. Pagani because you have it, like essentially probably the only way you can get a Zonda without getting Pagani to build one for you is own a Huayra.
Yeah.
And I like the Huayra. But I don't think the Huayra, the Huayra is a really brutal, really cool car, and it sounds quite good, especially if you put an exhaust on it. But I don't think the Zonda is just far more exciting sounding. I think the Zonda is a great looking car. It's got interesting looks, but I like it in the same way I like the Spyker C8, and I think the attention to detail, especially on the Huayra, is insane. I think they have more attention to detail than really anyone. Mm-hmm. I mean, and another car, obviously for me, I think would be a McLaren Senna. I love the Senna. Mm-hmm. Some people say it's hideous. I think the Senna looks really good.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it looks as good as a P1.
Yeah.
P1 probably is the best looking McLaren ever made. I would say out of what is the best McLaren ever made, in my opinion, like if I was gonna go to McLaren line and take any car, it would be a Senna. I like the F1 LM a lot. The F1 LM is a really good looking car. Those ones have the aero package on it, because I think the F1 looks a little dull in some ways without a wing, but the F1, the P1, the Senna, those are my favorites. But I think the Senna is ultimately one that goes the fastest around a racetrack. And I think if you want the track toy, it's kind of where you go to get one. The Senna has crazy downforce, crazy brakes. There isn't anything else really on track that drives like it. Even race cars can't really keep up with the Senna. Yeah, at least in some race cars.
GT3 cars, I assume.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the GT3
know.
cars would get close. I would have. I mean, I do like Senna GTR and or Senna GTR, and like if I ever did do an insane project car, like most insane project car I'd ever undertake, would be buy Senna GTR, like for complete track speed, like just to make the fastest track car you could have. Get a Senna GTR and like put new turbochargers on, give it like up 1,000 horsepower, 1,100 horsepower, and then you have like the most insane accelerating, gripping track car there is, and that car would be an insane one to have, and definitely something I would like to keep. I'd like to get, and I mean I would love to have a Porsche RSR, as crazy as those sound.
So
like,
the RSR, the LOS, and the Senna.
Yeah, I like the track car squad. That would be me personally, but I mean, because these are all ones that I think. Like I think the 488 GT3, the Corvette C8R has a very exciting engine. The Corvette C7R wasn't that exciting. Like those kind of ones aren't that exciting. But I think the LMS, the RSR, and other ones are very exciting because the RSR you get a faster than the GT2 RS on track, but you still have a naturally aspirated engine. And it's technically mid-engine. They actually technically move the engine further forward or whatever to get to beat the 4GT, but it still is quite cool. And it's got a much more insane sound than the GT2 RS, which is kind of muted compared to really all other good sounding Porsches. So I think it's the best balance between naturally aspirated and track speed you can buy. I mean, but I don't know if you could street legalize one. There are people who have street legalized Ferrari challenge cars and Audi R8s and stuff, but I would do that to all of my race cars. It'd be funny to drive around the street, even though you'd probably get a lot of being pulled over.
Questions. You get a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And probably get yelled at a few times. But it would be a lot of fun because I think the race car experience is really cool. I mean,
just like you have a car where it's
like if you're talking about really expensive stuff like LaFerrari F40 Competizione, favorite car ever pretty much Aston Martin Vulcan. One of my favorite cars ever. I don't know if it's changing. I don't know if it's shifting towards the Senna. What my favorite car ever is. I love the Peugeot 905, which is another race car. These are all cars that are very, very hard to get, and I wouldn't like if I could choose just one really expensive car, it would probably be LaFerrari 905 or Vulcan. I love all three of those. But the cars I listed kind of before ones that are somewhat affordable. I would love to buy in a Bart 500 or a Bart, and
that's definitely more affordable than
yeah. I'd love to buy in a Bart. Mostly because in Forza you can do silly upgrades that you probably couldn't do in real life. But for me, it would be the most hilarious project car ever to buy a Bart, to give it like swap in a rally engine like a Ford Subaru whatever rally engine you get in some of these rally cars, give it like 600 800 horsepower, yeah. And then put a four-wheel drive swap, which is like not like there are cars like that, but they're really 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 insane. Like it would be a serious rebuild and cost a lot of money, but I think it would be the most funny thing really there is to drive around in a Fiat with like 850 horsepower and track suspension, racing slicks, and just fully stripped out interior, racing steering wheel, sequential race transmission too, like giant wing on the back, put like a time attack aero setup, and just have the most insane Abarth in the world. I think that would be a really really cool project. Maybe it would be my number one car. Maybe if I can only have one car, it would be that, just because it would be funny. Yeah. There are a lot of cars that like I don't know if I'll probably need some kind of work vehicle, like I was saying. I'd probably need a pickup truck someday.
F-150, Ram 1500.
I mean, if I stay in California and don't really do anything too big, I guess I might not need one. But I'd probably get an F-150, Ram 1500, Chevy Silverado, something like that. I'd like something that's a little bit interesting, a little bit different from the rest, but not having to be a TRX.
I think the Rams handle pretty well.
Yeah, I think the Rams are quite nice.
Good for a big old pickup truck.
I'd probably get a Ram of some sort, but not. I get a V8.
Power wagon.
Yeah, power wagon maybe. I get a V8 though. Like a normal, not diesel V8. I wouldn't need a TRX or a Raptor. I don't feel like that's what I need, but it's just I just don't think it's really essential for what I would want to do with it. Just normal pickup truck duties, and I'd probably get an AMG, whatever you call it, GLC I think, or GLE. I'm not sure. Whichever one the normal SUV GLE, is for like stomping around town. Just like monoblock wheels all, and that one's just awesome. 600 horsepower, whatever you get, and I certainly that's the kind of stuff I'm interested in. Anything that's got a lot of sound and a lot of speed.
Yeah, like
something that you can really take on a racetrack.
Race car where like you have like seats falling backwards. Like you have that sound that race cars have. It's hard. I don't know what it is. It's a transmission or just like the lack of sound barriers in the car. Mm-hmm. It gives us that high pitched sort of just noise.
I think that the difference between a Huracan Super Trofeo and a Huracan, Like they're really really immense, and I think like all these cars I've talked about would be terrible daily driver cars. I don't know what I would buy for a daily driver.
Taycan.
Daily driver, maybe Tesla Model S. I like the Model S. Mm-hmm. I didn't like Tesla so much before. I like them. But I wouldn't do anything dumb where I sit in the passenger seat or whatever and let it drive itself. But I would like. I mean, I wouldn't mind a Model S. I like the I'm just trying to. I like the AMG E63S. I like the Audi RS6, RS7. But I would probably have a normal. I would love to. A funny thing also, I would love to have a Honda Accord. And I know you like old Hondas a lot, but 90s I'm not super interested in those Hondas. But I know Honda made an Accord called the 2.0T. They made there are probably manual ones out there with a stick. They're also I think they were four-wheel, like the latest generation. I think they were four-wheel drive ones, and I think they were I think they did 0 to 16 like less than 6 seconds or something, which is quick for an Accord, very quick for an Accord. But
it was the same. The Civic Type R engine, just detuned.
Mm-hmm. I would put probably. I don't know how tunable that engine is, but I'd probably take that or put a Honda K series engine in it, make like 800 horsepower 4-wheel drive stick shift Accord, which because I would like a 4-door car where you could scare 3 people at once, 4 people at once if someone who doesn't know what it is driving. But that would be immensely fun. I would have a lot of fun with that. Like I kind of like those kind of cars, and I also have a Buick Encore.
Yeah, that's the.
Because when this channel has like 100,000 followers, I would like to do a thing where maybe I shouldn't have revealed the plan, but I would like to buy a Buick Encore someday because it's like a dull, boring, annoying. Like I think it's the epitome of boring. It's like it's bad. It's not that great looking, but it's not ugly enough to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's like. It's not that. It doesn't. You couldn't get a manual. You could get a 4-wheel drive version.
Somebody's vacuuming the floor.
Yes. So apologies for that noise. Hopefully you can't hear it. But
Don't worry.
it's just funny and it's very boring. I don't think there's anything interesting about the Buick Encore. So I'd buy one of those, do some funny stuff to it.
Yeah.
And which we won't give away the details. You know, probably won't happen for a few years. But I guess that's kind of what I talked about. I know I've always loved the Veyron. There's so many cars I love, but I've always loved the Senna, the P1, the 918, and the LaFerrari because those were kind of supercars when I was technically a younger kid or whatever that you hear about. Like I never had a poster of any car on the wall, but that was kind of the poster car, LaFerrari probably, or probably 918 Spider. I like 918 Spider. I don't like it. Like I think it would be a fun car around here, but like it's not really like it doesn't have that much downforce on a track. So it's like I think if you're really serious about track with a Porsche, buy a GT2 RS.
Yeah.
But anyway, to summarize all that, I think you kind of know what I like in cars and what you like in cars.
I had one more car on my list that I forgot because the laptop conked out. 2 more actually. One thing is that I didn't put any JDM on the list. So R32, 3, or 4 GTR are all awesome. I'd like to have one of those. RX-7 is also really awesome, especially with like time attack gear. And old NSX is also awesome. These are all like I'm listing all these JDM cars. So like just like a GTR or a Supra or an RX-7 or an NSX, most likely the NSX or GTR.
Like you have to choose one. That's
it's going to be like the R33 or 4 or the NSX with the first gen with the pop-up
I personally
headlights.
buy an R32 GTR. I can't really describe the wheels or whatever. I get an R32 GTR, certain color, certain wheels. Like maybe a bit extra horsepower, like 450 horsepower, because it's 4-wheel drive. Get new tires. And then maybe a slightly larger wing and an exhaust, and then drive that around.
Yeah.
I think I'd have a lot of fun in one of those. I like the R32 GTR a lot. I think I'm generally not like a Japanese car guy. Like there's some people who are like, oh yeah, I like all the Japanese cars, like you. But I'm generally not super interested in that. Mm-hmm. I'm also not the type of guy who's like everything expensive, because there's some people like, oh, I love all the expensive cars.
Yeah.
But I think that for me, the cars that are most brutal and raw and insane are the ones I like. I love the Apollo IE too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I'm maybe someday I'll be able to afford one, but anyway, it's a car that is just really different from the rest of the hypercars, and I like that it's V12 too, because there aren't that many V12 hypercars. Like nowadays, it's a V8. I mean, even now with the Cone Sigma Mare, it's like a 3-cylinder, like a motorcycle size engine.
Not motorcycle size, but like motorcycle number of cylinders. It's like 2 liter, which is pretty big which would be pretty big on a motorcycle.
I mean, ultimately, I would love to have some kind of IndyCar type project car.
Yeah.
Like I like an open wheel racer track day car.
Yeah. The one more car, the Caterham 7, 620R or whatever, just because that car would be hilarious to drive.
Yeah, Caterham 7. I would get an Ariel Atom. I love the Ariel Atom.
Nomad would be a blast too, especially like the dirt trails. You you're like can block whatever.
I think Ariel Atom would be awesome for me though. I really like it. I think Caterham 7. I think that kind of reflects our taste a bit more.
Yeah.
Like in the lightweight sports car, you like the more classic-ish one. I like the more raw, aggressive one. which I think an aerial animal is really cool. So definitely we get to those and blast in the canyon road. So someday you may see us doing that.
And
but
then, okay, one more. The one car I'd like to I want to have in my garage. I want to have a not boring, way boring car, like a very, what's the word? Very
normal.
Car that's very normal, but like just kind of a car like when you don't want to go fast, that's still interesting. Is a 4Runner, like a 90s not 90s. What's that?
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s 4Runner with a manual, all-wheel drive manual, like in good condition. I think that'd be really just like good car for just doing errands or whatever. You don't want something fast,
If I am ever lucky enough, which I hope I will be, have a lot of cars, I do want to have a car that's not like an AMG daily driver, an RS or an M or whatever, even a Type R daily driver. Something that's not fast,
something with no sport mode.
Yeah, that's like not even something that's like a sleeper modded car or whatever. Like that's what I have. I mean, I think I want to have something like that. I can't really think of anything in particular right now, but something just normal, not too fancy. I would also love to get a Viper ACR, which I think is one of the coolest front engine cars ever made. Either a Viper or 812 GTS. I would have a hard time choosing.
That'd be crazy.
Both would be insane. But I would do a twin turbo Viper because the twin turbo Vipers are just if
awesome.
you know how to drive, you really have to know how to drive twin turbo Viper fast. But
and then
I mean, actually, it might not be that hard. The only thing I don't like about the twin turbo Vipers is they have so much horsepower. Some of them that you have to be like, I'm just gonna I'll just like you kind of have to go. But if you're in a normal Viper, you just go as fast as you want to.
But even if you're in a normal Viper, you shouldn't floor it because they have a lot of torque for that engine. The what I was gonna say is I hope I mean the right when I say 4Runner. The one they sold in Curs and Vids, it was like a
it was a 4Runner.
It was a 4Runner, yeah. That's a 4Runner.
Or even a Land Cruiser. I'll show you a Land Cruiser might be a
cool
car.
too. There's no manual. Well, old Land Cruisers are manuals, but they're too interesting.
I'd probably get a newer Land Cruiser. Not like maybe put them off-road tires.
Yeah, actually that's probably what I do. I'd probably get like a 100, 200 series Land Cruiser off-road tires and just use like a daily driver at Hall of Family around it, whatever,
Yeah, or the dog, whatever.
Yeah, that'd be handy. Or
I'm someone who's very interested in keeping fish and reptiles. If you follow my other channel, like Lists of Animals, maybe we'll leave a link to that in the description. But I definitely keep a lot of animals or whatever. Like I'm really interested in fish and reptiles, so I'd need a vehicle to move things around. I'd probably get a truck for that, but like we've discussed that a little bit earlier. So I would need like maybe a Land Cruiser. I don't know if you can fit like a monitor lizard in the back of a Land Cruiser, but I guess we'll find out. So stay tuned. Yeah, coming soon in like the same way that Stradman says soon, like 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever.
Maybe longer than that.
Maybe longer. And even the way you say soon, like when someone requests something to build, like the 500th model you've gotten a request for to build in Lego, it's like
soon,
sometime when I'm done building everything else.
Yeah. Like
5-6 years from now, I'll build it. Like sometimes we get random niche requests, for you. But anyway, without getting too much into discussion about your Lego channel, but I think everyone's got something they're very interested in.
Yeah.
I think everyone has the car that because I think some people they have the car when they grow up, and like I think there's a Veyron or 918 for me, but now my tastes have changed to something else, and like probably Senna, Vulcan, those kind of cars, but. I think that it is. I think everyone has some kind of car they've always wanted.
Yeah. Like I think it's kind of like depends on how much money you have, like or where you're starting at least. Because I have no car, So I think the first car I'd look at buying, like on the dream car list at least, is either the 4Runner, the Civic Type R, or the NA Miata. And then after that, I move on to the next thing, which is like the what else did I mention?
C63.
Maybe one car I didn't mention on the list because the laptop conked out. C63 Black Series, 720S Spider. Or then after that, then you can move to like big stuff like Cincenario or the Venom.
If you can afford it, which I hope you can.
So yeah, technically, I like the Miata just as much as the Cincenario in the sense because the Miata has its own different thing. The Cincenario is like not the car to beat out all other cars. It's not like the epitome of a car. It's technically just a body kit. I know. I think a lot of people say, the McLaren F1's the greatest car ever made, and some people say the McLaren F1 is overrated, which is like an opinion that is like. Unpopular?
I actually do agree. First when I heard that one guy say it, I was like, and I realized actually no, it is overrated. It's always shown as the greatest car of all time. I think it is a great car, and I would also have a Gordon Murray T50 in my garage, the T50S, the track version, because that car will sound absolutely insane. So no offense to Gordon Murray, I love his cars, but I do like the T50 a little better than the F1. so far because I haven't driven either. When I drive both, I'll come back here and tell you.
Okay, let us know.
Yes, I mean in a few years we should come back and make this video again.
Yeah.
When we've driven a lot more cars. At least we've driven some cars. At least we've
Sat
driven
in one more car.
Yeah, at least we sat in one more car. We should come back and make this video again. I'm sure we'll have different opinions, and sometime we'll come back here and we'll actually have actual cars.
Yeah.
And I just think that it is interesting that, like, I mean, I think we both have very different, like, we both have cars we really like, but we both have things that are very different.
Yeah.
Like you had a Honda Prelude on your list. Like, I'm not really interested in the Honda Prelude.
Yeah.
But you did have, like, a AMG CC3. We both love AMGs. So, anyway, I guess that's probably...
Wait, can I throw one more in there?
Yeah.
Because I just want to mention this one, in case you're still watching or listening, or whatever. The Mugen Stepwagon.
Oh, yes.
Or Mugen Step WGN. Basically, JDM minivan tuner JDM minivan. Yeah. Basically, Japan and maybe some other places, Honda sells the Step WGN. It's spelled like that. It's spelled Step WGN.
Not like Stepwagon.
Not Stepwagon. I mean, I assume they call it the Stepwagon, but I'll just call it Step WGN for accuracy. There's a Mugen version of it. Mugen being the Honda tuner. There's a Mugen CRV too, which is also hilarious, but the Stepwagon is the most hilarious one.
Yeah.
Basically, it's bigger than the Odyssey. It's like a passenger van, sort of. And it's got a wing, it's got like an exhaust system, it's got not carbon fiber, it's got a front splitter and side skirts and new wheels. It looks hilarious. Love one of those.
Yeah, I would just like to drive that around and see what people thought of it.
Yeah, I'd love to import one and then use that as like a family car.
Oh, I keep adding cars into the list. But in a few years, you could be able to import like some British sports cars. The Lotus 340R and the TVR Sagaris.
TVR Sagaris, yeah, that's definitely a...
Sagaris is like unreliable. I don't think like it'll spend. I shouldn't be negative, but I bet if I buy one, it'll spend more time in the repair shop than it does in my garage. No, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, but I would like to end up buying a TVR Sagaris. I'd be happy to have a
burn
TVR
down all the
Sagaris.
hedges.
Yeah, I know. It's got the craziest exhaust. It's such a cool car. I don't. It's not reliable at all. But
as far as we know.
Yeah, as far as we know, I don't know. They're not
kind of
assume
assume
and it's
TVRs
extremely dangerous as sports cars go. Probably more dangerous than the Viper.
Or as dangerous.
As dangerous. But like it's just a crazy car.
Yeah.
And I would also love to get a Lotus 340R, which if you haven't seen is insane looking too. Those are going to be legal import in a few years. So hopefully in a few years, they probably won't be that expensive. Hopefully I can afford one.
Yeah. That's why I say R33, R32 GTR I'd also be happy with, because as soon as R34s now in the US, the ones that are there are extremely expensive.
Like $500,000.
When they bring them in, I assume they're still just going to keep going. Not keep going up, but I assume that they're going... I don't assume. I think they are going to stay... It's the same thing. But I think they are going to...
Stay
at the same level or come down just a little bit. But I assume they're still going to be very expensive. So I get the feeling that not many people in Japan or whatever who own them are going to willing to sell them.
My expectation is that every YouTuber will buy one.
Yeah, everybody on YouTube who makes videos...
Everyone who's not British.
I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, because if you live in England, I don't know if they ever sold R34 in England.
Yeah,
I don't think they did. I think R34 is a Japanese market. But I don't know if there are R34s in England, but in England they're not as big in the GTRs that we are here. But like in England, like people who make YouTube channels or whatever, influencers or whatever, might not buy them. But in America, a lot of people are gonna buy them because a lot of people who grew up in the 1990s saw the GTR, especially in Fast and Furious, and thought, "Oh wow, I like this car."
What's that game called?
Need for Speed.
Not Need for Speed.
Gran
Wait, it was
Turismo.
Need for Speed.
Whichever one of those games.
What's that game called? I can't remember the name.
Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo. Yes. Thank you.
But I think that I think every YouTuber will buy one. I think we can bet on that.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people will import them. They will be very cool, but
I also wonder if they'll become not common, but like
poor Japanese people have all their GTRs taken away.
Yeah.
Like all the GTRs will be in America.
Yeah, I almost wonder, will it be like, what's a car that's not like the R35 in supercar terms, or sports car if you want to call it that, is common. I think the R34, once they start importing them, will be rarer than that.
Much rarer, but
it won't be like
as coveted as it was.
It won't be hypercar level rare, but I don't think it'll be supercar level rare. I mean, I think it might be supercar level common.
Because an R34 GTR is as rare as a Koenigsegg around here. Much rarer, probably.
As soon as like wealthy people who like the car start importing them, they're going to be a lot. Especially like in the usual supercar places, Miami, Los Angeles, that sort of thing.
I'm sure there are beat up ones too, or at least somewhat beat up ones.
And so if people can find those and then that might be even more searched for is beat up R34s to import, and they make YouTube videos repairing them.
If Tavares is watching this video, there's a good idea. Like seriously, buy an wrecked R34 and rebuild it. I would watch that video.
That's like the combination of the most view grabbing items on YouTube. What do? You have to make it like one of those little things where they do those model cars and put it in ice first.
Yeah, but
And chip it out the ice.
our real one.
Yeah,
find
never
it like
mind.
find it like a frozen there.
Yeah,
Just
go
in the
freeze
Arctic.
it in like an Arctic or something.
Yeah.
And take it
But anyway,
expedition.
I think the point is it's interesting that the GTR is so hyped around here. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna be a big deal when they are allowed to be imported. But what I find so funny is that it's funny that people even the Supra. There's so much Supra. Like Cole runs the Lego channel, brick engineering dude, obviously, where he like builds Lego cars. But he gets so many requests for a Supra. He built a Supra, which looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's funny
But-
thing is like I built like 1 week I built McLaren Sabre, and that got like more views than normal. Next week I build the Supra, and that just takes off, and it's like this Supra is just like
It's strange what made the Supra so popular.
It's not strange. It's a
I-
good
I get why
combination
you'd like
sports
it.
car. Yeah,
Mhm.
I like it myself. I love it myself.
I love the
have
Supra
one.
too. I would buy a Supra probably. I just don't like how expensive they are. Like literally, I saw ones like over $120,000. Like ones
Like
that
a
were
manual twin turbo hardtop.
yeah, I know, but ones that were like questionably modified even were like in the $70,000-$80,000 range, and even ones with high miles. So I think the Supras are overpriced. But unfortunately I don't think there's anything you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they are definitely good cars. The Supra, I think it's an icon, and yes. How should we summarize this video? Because we should probably end it now.
Yeah. We like weird. We like a good variation of cars.
Yes, I don't think we're the type of people who like.
I think
all
everybody
one
likes a good
thing.
variation of cars.
Yeah,
But
but for me, especially what defines people is like a car enthusiast who's more like car nerd than the other car enthusiasts. Like most people recognize a Lamborghini or whatever, but people who look at cars like an Audi RS2 or
yeah.
even like just like cars like that, they're like that most people don't think it's cool.
kind of cars.
Yeah. Like if you don't think they're cool, like a lot of people won't think they're cool. Even a lot of car enthusiasts won't think they're cool. But if you know what it is,
Yeah.
then
Like
that
sleepers,
puts you
not
on
modified sleepers, but
that puts you on
factory
like
sleepers.
puts you on like a very high level of car enthusiast. But anyway, I think we
No
should
offense
wrap.
if you aren't a very high level of car enthusiast.
No, we're not.
Say.
We're not gonna make any
But
names or
then
whatever.
we're not going to try and be nice either. No, never mind.
Yes,
yeah, I don't know
anyway.
where I'm going with that. I don't
we
mean
should-
to be rude.
There's been a lot of in this video. But anyway, but we should wrap this video up. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video and you enjoy us rambling here, we promise it'll get better. We promise next week will be better. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And we should have told you this earlier because you might not be here by now. Anyway, we will see you next time.
Goodbye. That was fun. Wait,